So one thing that is very common for people to search for are all the ASCII alphabet characters, or the US alphabet. I'm not sure what to call that. And also digits. So this is right here, digit class, and this is the a word, which is a digit or a number, and the S is a space. There are corresponding character classes. Some languages, they support the Perl style, and some the POSIX, some both. So it's really, going to be left up to you to figure that out with your respective language. Cold Fusion supports POSIX. I think we saw that. We looked it up the other day. Adam did.
Hey, Jamie.
Yes.
I have a question about
Yes.
that one. Actually about the crap one.
Yes.
So the negation, will it work on the whole word, or will it only work if you pick a certain
It will only work on a certain letter. So
you can't use it on
no.
like select the letter and the word.
No, so you couldn't negate the entire crap. So that kind of thing is difficult with the basic regular expression syntax. Really, when you're programming, you want to match crap and then do a not in the programming language. So you might do a find, find crap, and then in your programming language, just negate that. So, but not within the regular expression. And I can show an example of that later, if you remind me. Any other questions? Yeah, so I just wanted to say real quick, I'm going to go over the features, then I'm going to go over some examples, and then some sample uses. So don't worry if this is like flying over your head or anything, since I'm going to come back to it. Next feature are quantifiers. We can say how many times we want to match a certain pattern. So that's actually an error. So a question mark will match one or more of the pattern. So if we want to match, we want to say, does a string have one or more A's? Then we can do A question mark. The asterisk matches 0 or more of the character. So if we wanted to match 0 or more A's in a string, then we'd use A star. The plus matches more than 0. And the N and the N and M just match a certain amount. When you know exactly how many you want, or if it's between a certain range. This is actually an error here. This should include, this should be BC star. So just going through this real quick, let's say we wanted to match a string that did match this. It matched it was like A, B, C, B, C. So remember that we start here, and we have an accepting state here and here. So we'd say the first character is A. We test that. If it's A, then we go here. If the next character is either B or C, then we go here to an accepting state. It can also, the next character could also be B or C, and we would just keep on repeating the acceptance. That's if this says BC star, which is 1, or no, 0. No, that's plus, I'm sorry. Plus, which is 1 or many. Sorry, that's a little confusing, I know. Okay, the next feature is grouping. Sometimes we want to match a whole set of characters as they are, many times, or we want to do something special with them. With groups, we can extract whatever's inside the parentheses, and we can also apply quantifiers to them. So if we wanted to match multiple ABCs patterns, then we would use a group. And I'll show some more concrete examples of that later. So let's say we have a string. It has like a bunch of stuff with fruit and junk. And we have regular expression that's over here. That will basically match anything that ends in PPLE. because we have a character class here, any letter, one or more times, ending in PPLE. If we were to apply this regex using whatever syntax is valid for the language you're working with, then we would match these words. Apple, scrap, snapple, pineapple, because they all end in PPLE. Any questions? Okay, and there's other features, but I wanted to keep it simple. So I'm not even going to go over this slide. You'll see this later. And if you actually start using regular expressions, a lot of this will come naturally. So I'm just, going to bypass it. So this is a stopping point. I have a little stop sign here. Any questions? We will have some concrete examples, but not too many. So if something went whoosh completely over your head, then now it's time to ask. But as long as you have a basic idea, that should be good enough.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So maybe a helpful thing to know would be the example that you used with Apple, the PPLE.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between using a regular expression for that and just doing a find, like a wildcard search for PPLE in a string?
The key difference is that it's difficult to get the entire word. Let's say I want all the words that have the PPLE. It's difficult to get that out because let's say we did a regular find. Usually in whatever language you're using, that gives you a position, right? A numeric position. Then you'd have to take that position, backtrack to the last space, for example, if you wanted the word. Do you know what I mean? And then to extract it. Does that make sense? So let's say we did find cold fusion for PPLE. It might give us position 2, position, I don't know, whatever that is, 20, 26 or so, right? But then at that point, we just have the positions, and we could extract Apple very easily. We would say for each of those positions, extract 5 characters after that position. But we don't know going back how far to look for the space to know the beginning of the word. Does that make sense? No.
Oh, I do see how that could be advanced. I guess I'm just confused about how Regex knows that space is the delimiting thing in your string.
Oh, okay. So only because I specified A to Z and not a space inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's something I kind of glossed over. It's fully detects all white space and everything. So it's exactly literal. If you have a space in something, and you don't have it in your regex, it won't work. It won't match anything. Also, for tabs, new lines, you have to explicitly state what you're expecting.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
If one of the words was Snapple with a D at the end, would the regex find it versus the find wouldn't find it because of PPLE?
It would find it, and what would happen is, I think, depending on your regex flavor, if you were